Hello, viewers. I hope I am visible and audible. Today is the 11th of January 2026, and it is 8:30 a.m. in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. I think this is, you'll be able to see the view outside my window. The sun is just coming up. It shows that the temperature here is 9 degrees Celsius, but I highly doubt it will feel like 9 degrees Celsius if I step out now. So I'll just set up a few essential checks just to ensure that the experience is good. Yep, and the checks are in order. I think everything is fine, and we can begin the discussion now. I just need to confirm one thing. Yes. So yes, today is a Sunday. I do not have any obligation work-wise today, but I might go to work, go to the hospital and get a few essential bits of training completed. Yesterday was very productive. I had two main goals for yesterday. One was related to banking, which I have completed, and the other was related to laundry. So yesterday I did laundry for the first time. First ever laundry. Good morning, Baba. Good afternoon for you. Good morning for me. Yesterday was the first time I ever did laundry in my life, and I'm not proud to admit that at this age, but there's always a first time. And for me, yesterday was the first time. And what did I wash? I washed 18 pairs of socks, 7 pairs of shorts, I think 7 vests, 7 handkerchiefs, and 7 formal shirts. That's all I have washed in one day. So that's not a very insignificant number of clothes. And I know that while you're washing in a washing machine, you can't wash whites with colors. So I had separate loads for the white clothes, and I had a separate load for the colored clothes. I learned a lot. It's not very intuitive, probably it's because of the washing machine, but it did the job. My main learning experience was I thought washing machine is a very quick process. Perhaps it's quicker than manual washing. Certainly requires less effort than manual washing, but each load took about 2.5 hours to complete washing. 2.5 hours. So that was a time consuming thing, but very satisfying experience. Yesterday, another new thing that I did, which is also the thumbnail and title for this live stream, is for the first time I ordered delivery food, and that too Indian food, and I had it in the kitchen table in my current accommodation. So usually I've been having dinner at around 5 p.m. inside the hospital. Yesterday I had dinner around 8 p.m., which is the usual time when I would have dinner even in India. The dinner was basmati rice and lamb tikka masala. It was very sweet, but apart from that, it was quite good. Hello, Ma. Hello, Baba. So that was my experience from yesterday. Today, so the clothes that I washed yesterday, all of them are dry now, completely dry, and I have brought them back and kept them in the cupboard. That is the cupboard. The clothes are all inside there. So, hello, Ma. So clothes are all there, and the former shirts, they are still drying downstairs, and I've placed them on hangers. That's what I heard. And so the washing is done on the basis of my knowledge from ChatGPT. I was told that while washing the shirts, you should button them up and turn them inside out. That's how I washed them. And while drying them, you should unbutton all the buttons and place them on a hanger and then hang the hanger to dry them. So that's what I've done. Hopefully that would work out. So I do want to know if I want to know if Mom and Buru Mama have joined or not. I don't see any messages from them. Maybe I could do this and that would help. Let's ask about the audio. How is the audio? Is it good? Can you hear me? Audio. How is the audio? Is it good? Is it good? Clear audio. Okay. So now the next logical question is, where is Mama and Buru Mama? Why are they not here? It's 2 p.m. in India. I don't think they'll be busy doing something right now. They were aware of the time. Why are they not here? Maybe some buyer has come up. Who knows? So maybe you can find that out. If you have any questions, then please ask. I will obviously reply. I saw the video of Rajnath's birthday. Happy birthday to Rajnath. Rajnath, Pawanji, Shumanda, if they can join, then it would be nice. If you have any questions, you can ask. Yeah, so, I mean, 2 p.m. was mentioned. I don't, maybe I should call you before coming online. I don't understand this, but it's okay. It is okay. I'm sure everybody is busy in their own lives. Yes, so washing machine does have a tumble dryer. It does, but they have requested me to not use the tumble dryer because it uses a lot of electricity. So, yeah, there is a tumble dryer, but we don't have access to it. It's only for emergencies. Thank you. Thank you for confirming that the audio is good. As pointed out by Rajnath, I have applied some lip treatment. If you have any questions, you can ask me. So, as I said in the beginning of the video, the temperature here is 9 degrees Celsius, which is like a very high temperature here. 9 degrees Celsius is very high. But it's raining. It rained all night, and I think it is still raining. We can see the I don't know if you can appreciate. Seems like it's still raining. What happened on my nose stops? So something has come up. I think a pimple or something. Hi, I have just finished my lunch. Now that you have mentioned that, why don't you tell me what did you have for lunch? Tell me what you had for lunch. What is that dryer? No, so dryer is not there. There is a tumble dryer. That it's like a machine which can be used to dry the clothes. It is there, but we have been requested not to use it. So I don't use it. There is a boiler room, and clothes dry off in about 12 hours. Easily. Easily. First rain since you came. No, It has been raining almost, it has rained every day, it rains at some point or the other. It's very rare that you go through an entire day without even a single spell of rain. So when we used to watch cricket matches played in England and we would see all these rain delays, or tennis matches in Wimbledon and rain delays, that's because of the unpredictability of the weather here. So frequent rain spells are seen. It's not the first rain at all. Good morning, Pavanji. Machar Chhol Bhat. Very good, very good. Yeah, Pavanji, good morning. कोई सवाल होगा तो पूछिएगा पवन जी. Uche. Uche is so Uche. Bitter gourd. That's great. So this is a pimple, as my ma was asking. I can't really do anything about that. So yeah, the drying system is very good. I had a long chat with one of the owners, and she was telling me about her six children. She was telling me about 6 children, and that she misses them terribly because they've all grown up and they've all moved out. And I was reminded of my parents, and I told her that I talk to my parents once every day, which is she was quite appreciative of that. Hello, Puroma. So I've figured out many more rules, and I've started exploring different parts of the house. I met two other tenants here, two other guests here. Both are from India. So yeah, it's been a fairly good experience. Yesterday was good. I think yesterday was the first day which I spent completely indoors in my current accommodation. Usually I would just go out, if not for anything else, than just to eat. Yesterday I ate inside in this house. I think for the first time. Yes, I've never consumed food inside this house since 24th December, which is when I moved here. I address him by his first name, which I will not mention here. Privacy concerns. I will disclose his first name in a private conversation. I usually don't mention the name of the accommodation also, but so yeah, I will tell you the name later. বুড়ো মামা এখনো খাচ্ছে. বুড়ো মামা কি একই জিনিস খাচ্ছে? Oh, Prayagraj is calling us, but no one is interested this year. Yeah, I think this time last year we were planning Prayagraj. No sunlight to spread the clothes. That is true. That is absolutely true. There is no sunlight to spread the clothes, which at least provides the heat. So the heat is there. Clothes can be dried quite easily there. Yeah. I will just check the community moderation thing. Yep. I think everything is all right. You online with us is an oxygen for us. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's the discussion I had with the owner. And I think that some human emotions are universal. They transcend geographical boundaries. One of them is this what you mentioned here. So every parent will miss their offspring and vice versa. So thank you for that question. Again, you did not join from the beginning of the video. I had mentioned this. So what did I wash yesterday? Let me tell you the number. And before I tell you the number, I'm reminded of I think Prakash, I think his name was, or Dhobi. My mother will confirm. I forget the name of her dhopa. So growing up, one of my favorite activities used to be to wash the communication between my mother and the thopa. So when thopa would come back, invariably he would return later than usual. So if he promised 2 weeks, he would come back after 3 weeks. And once he would return, there would be a first verbal salvo of anger expressed at his late arrival. And the second bit of the discussion would be in the counting of the number of clothes, the attire that was washed. And there would be like shirt, duto, two shirts, three trousers, and all that. That entire discussion would happen about the number of items he was supposed to wash and has he brought them back. And again, when he would carry them, again there would be a list prepared, a list that my mother would keep with herself, and a list that obviously the Dhopa had a list. So that verification would happen. So I remember that very clearly. I don't remember his name that clearly. Shumanda, hello. Prakash, yes. Prakash was, hi Rajnath ji's birthday, happy birthday Rajnath ji. 3টে বাটা মাছ পুরো আর বাকি আরো দুটো কাটা কাটা খাচ্ছি. Very good, Prakash. So so I remember these conversations with Prakash. I used to watch him as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old. But I remember that itemized laundry list. So I did that yesterday before I went downstairs. I had 18 pairs of socks. 18 pairs of socks, yes. I had 7 pairs of shorts, 7 shorts, 7 vests, Sando Genji, 7 handkerchiefs, 4 t-shirts, and 7 formal shirts. That is what I washed yesterday. Okay, so let me repeat. 18 pairs of socks, 18 pairs of socks, 7 pairs of shorts, 4 t-shirts, 7 Sando Genji, 7 handkerchiefs, and 7 formal shirts. Out of this, all of it is completely dry now except the 7 formal shirts, which I washed at 4 a.m. this morning. So I washed the shirts at 4 a.m. this morning. They have been left. I kept them in the boiler room at 8 a.m. Or 7 a.m. I think 7:30. Sorry, 7:30. At 7:30 a.m. I kept those 7 formal shirts to dry in the boiler room. They will be completely dry by the evening. The others, the 18 pairs of socks, the 7 pairs of shorts, the 7 vests, and the 7 handkerchiefs, they are completely dry. I brought them back up, I folded them, and I have kept them inside that cupboard. I don't want to open the cupboard and show you my garments, but they are all inside the cupboard. So that is the story of laundry. I would try to do my laundry every Saturday if possible, because I think it takes a lot of time and it also takes a lot of effort mentally. Physical effort is not that much. What about ironing? So obviously I don't have to iron the socks and the shorts and the vests and the handkerchiefs. Those will not be ironed. As far as the shirts are concerned, most of the shirts that I have, they don't require ironing because they are wrinkle, crease-free, anti-iron shirts, I think. And that's what I read on the label. So probably I would not need them to be ironed. The shirts are like that. They are quite fancy shirts, if I may say so. But if ironing is required, I can always ask for help, and that can be easily arranged here. Very helpful people here, I have to say that. No, I have not exhausted all my clothes. That is a very interesting thing. So even if I had not washed any of these clothes yesterday, as I mentioned, the long list, 18 pairs of socks, 7 shorts, 7 vests, 7 handkerchiefs, 4 t-shirts, and 7 formal shirts. If I had not washed any of them, I still have enough clean clothes that I've not worn even once to last me one more week. So I did go in there with that contingency plan, because what if the entire washing had backfired? What if I had made the clothes more dirty after washing because of my inexperience? I would still have 1 week of clothes at my disposal to tide me over one more week. In that week, I might have found some solutions. So yes, I have not exhausted all my clothes. There are still clothes in the cupboard which I have not worn even once, and those are the clothes that I'll be wearing in the upcoming week. And I also have all of the previously worn clothes washed and dried and available to me. So I was quite happy with the laundry experience. नहीं नहीं, हैप्पी बर्थडे राजनाथ जी. लेट होने के लिए कोई कोई माफ़ी मांगने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Okay, so let us. Good morning, Rajnath ji. Yes, Prakash Vadatova. So let us go one by one. Have you come to know of your working hours in the hospital? I am vaguely aware of it. Again, I will not tell you details of it on YouTube. But yes, I'm aware of it. Chaddi. Yeah, Chaddi I have washed. Now pair your socks same to same. Yeah, so this is also some. Thank you for pointing that out. So again, this is something I have observed as an adult. I would see that my father, or I don't know if my mother did it or my father did it, the same pair of socks would be tied together. I did that. So now I'm 100% certain that all of the 18 pairs of socks have been retrieved and they have been tied together and kept in the cupboard. I did that in the morning, so that part is done. The socks have been paired and tied. What will you do today, as you won't be able to go out? Again, I don't think I will not be able to go out, because while it is raining, I do have an umbrella. So I am physically capable of going out. Whether I would want to go out or not, that is a separate matter. So I'll think about it. If I feel like going out, I'll go out. I'll take the umbrella with me. And I have the anti-slipping protective gear which I can attach to my shoes and not have any worry about slipping on the pavement. Yesterday I heard about one of my friends who has recently moved to the United Kingdom, who was walking on the frozen pavements and slipped and fell and kept sliding. So if you're not aware of it, if you're not aware of the precautions you need to take, you will slip, irrespective of how expensive your footwear is. Unless you're attaching those spikes or other equipment to prevent yourself from slipping, you will slip and you will fall and you might injure yourself. You might land up in the hospital. So while we are always going to the hospital every day to be doctors, to work as doctors, you might end up in the hospital as a patient. So you need to be very careful while walking on frozen pavements here. Yes, so they are anti-crease shirt, as my mother pointed out. Yes, I've read the label and it doesn't talk about ironing. So I read the label on the shirt very carefully before washing them, because I don't want to damage the clothes by washing them in the wrong way. So the settings and the washing technique, all these requirements are clearly mentioned on the shirt, the label of the shirt. So, and it also talks about anti-crease. So yes, I don't need to worry about ironing them. The coat is not the solution, because I will not be wearing coat inside the hospital. Coats are kept on a hanger. You are only wearing the shirt. But yes, because they are anti-crease shirts, I don't really need to worry about ironing. हाँ, तो आज के लिप्स बहुत अलग थे, बिकॉज कल आपने कहा कुछ लगाइए लिप्स पे, तो आज लगाए. आपका बात मैंने सुना. Yes, so it will be Again, more chilling, less chilling, I can't really differentiate because every day is very cold. But the temperature, surprisingly, on the weather app is showing 9 degrees Celsius. 9 degrees Celsius is good weather by local standards. 9 degrees Celsius. But I'm very sure it will not feel like 9 degrees Celsius. It will feel much less than that. It would feel like sub-zero temperature. না বৃষ্টি শেষ মনে হয়নি, মাঝে মাঝেই হচ্ছে, কিন্তু হাওয়া খুব দিচ্ছে, ঝড় বইছে। I can hear the wind. You will not be able to hear the wind because I have connected a microphone and transmitter device, receiver transmitter device. So you will only hear my voice through the mic here and the mic connected to the phone. But I am hearing different noises. And the wind is very loud. So yes, that is, I've even heard that if you are frail, if you're not that well built, then the winds can actually knock you off your feet. That is something which is known to happen here. So, that is something I wanted to mention to all the frail people in the chat here. Okay, let us look at other questions. 7 degrees, so Guru Mama is always checking the weather. Thank you. We had 9 degree here. I know. But then your 9 degree and mine 9 degree is different. Also, I can say that in India, I would be, but you would not be wearing just one t-shirt. Also, this t-shirt I'm wearing is something I washed yesterday. This t-shirt I washed yesterday. So in 9 degrees temperature, even if you're indoors in India, you would not be wearing only t-shirt. You would be wearing something more warm, cardigans and sweaters and all those things. Here, because the indoor heating is so good, you don't need to wear anything beyond t-shirt, even if it is negative temperature, sub-zero degrees Celsius temperature. Today, Arohi fell during cycling damaging her shoulder. Oh my God. Oh God. That is... Yeah, breeze will never knock me down. But then there are other people in the chat who might visit this place and they might be knocked down. So I wanted to make you aware of that. But Arohi this is bad news. So there has been a plaster. Has a plaster been applied? Oh God. I will find out. I'll ask about this in greater detail later. Let's not discuss this any further here. I will talk to you about it. Oh, I did not know this. Okay, we will discuss this over a call after this live stream. So, Mom, any probing questions? Again, like yesterday, we can have a long live stream if you can stay awake long enough. Because I have in no rush to end the live stream, and I am in no rush to go out today because today is a Sunday. So if you have any questions, you can ask me and I will be happy to answer. হ্যাঁ, ভালো আছি বিজয়, ভালো আছি, চলছে, एडजस्ट कर रहे हैं। नया देश है, सब कुछ नया है, यहाँ पे एडजस्ट कर रहे हैं और क्या। ओह, बोईमेला, वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड। So what do you prefer, oxygen or बोईमेला? My trademark humor is back. I want to know if you have any questions. So my enduring memory of the book fair is a feeling of Is a memory of asking my mother to buy me certain books and my mother saying no. So that is my enduring memory of book fair or বই মেলা. আমি বলবো যে এই বইটা কিনে দাও, না এত বই কেনা যাবে না, এত বই কেনা যাবে না, এত বই কেনা যাবে না. That is my memory of book fair, to be honest. और बताइए, राजनाथ जी कोई सवाल पूछिए. आज तो राजनाथ जी का बर्थडे है. हैप्पी बर्थडे अगेन राजनाथ जी. বুড়ো মামা মাম কিছু প্রশ্ন থাকলে করো. বাবা মা will purchase Atlas. Why will you purchase Atlas? Who purchases Atlas in today's day and age? You get all the information on your phone. Why do you need an Atlas? We had to buy this in school, I remember. Atlas used to be a mandatory part of our book list that we used to get in school. And there were two places where we used to go to buy books. I think one was Students' Corner, who's the Shrideep's father had Students' Corner, and Multi-Sale. I think these are the two places. If I don't know if I got the names wrong. I want to please confirm if the names are right. Mom and Baba. So these are the two places we used to go to. And there was one place in Burnpur also, in Station Road. I forget the name of that place. একদম বুক কিনে দাওনি সেটা নয়, তবে if I wanted 10 books you would buy 2. So that was very traumatizing for me. When I look back at it, I didn't go to bookstores even when I first moved to Calcutta. That is because entering bookstores would remind me of my financial reality, because books are not inexpensive and I would want to buy 10 books, but I could probably afford only one at best. I'm talking about after 2008 in Kolkata. During Boimala also I had this natural inclination to buy maybe 10 books, and I would probably get one or two, which is okay, but it reminded me of the importance of good finance, I suppose. But in today's world, we don't need to buy books anymore. We have so much available on the internet. But yeah, reading books is one of the best hobbies a person can have, I feel, because the kind of detailed, in-depth analysis that a book can provide, I don't think any other medium can provide. Not a documentary, not a YouTube video, not a show. So even a show like Game of Thrones, which went on for 8 seasons, or there are so many shows that people have made from the Lord of the Rings books. They can only scratch the surface of what can be covered in a book form, is what I think. But then there are those who don't like books. I'm not one of them. I've always been a huge fan of reading books. Student store, sorry. I said Student Corner. Student Store is the name. So Multi-Sale and Student Store. But what was the name of the shop in Station Road? Burnpur. I remember going to buy Arihant books there. I forget the name of the store in Burnpur. Burnpur दुकान नामটা মনে পড়লে লিখবে. Baba. Getting back to the question of male nurses, I think they are still considered taboo in India. Again, it depends upon who is doing the considering. I don't think it is taboo, because again, in Asansol I have seen many male nurses in many hospitals. I have seen them in Durgapur. They don't consider it taboo. I don't consider it taboo. But obviously some people might consider taboo. So I don't know. I don't think it's a non-issue. Male nurses are as, so it's the same thing as female doctors taboo. No, if women can be doctors, men can be nurses. It's that simple. আরেকটা গুলি আরেকটা গুলি কিনে দেবো মামকে? না, এটা গুলি। I am, I don't know what you have written. अच्छा, ब्रेकफास्ट अगेन, ब्रेकफास्ट अभी तक नहीं हुआ है, हो जाएगा. I am very fond of Atlas. Yeah, you can be fond of Atlas, but I hate to break it to you. You might get outdated information in the Atlas, and in some cases, wrong information in the Atlas. But okay, if you like it, you buy it. What's the problem? Just like vets, they are still called Ghora Dakhtar. Okay, yeah, vets, that's true. But they are doing a very noble job looking after the Bezuban Janwars. Yeah, yeah. No, I don't see. This is from The Godfather. Okay, and many of my philosophical wisdom comes from books and movies. So this is from The Godfather. And Vito Corleone said, "It doesn't matter to me what a man does to earn his living." Basically saying that as long as you're making a living, or as long as you're doing it to make a living, it is fair, it is noble, because it is your job to make ends meet, to look after your family. And what job you are doing is really something one should not really look down upon, or make moral judgments about, as long as it is legal. Of course, in Godfather, the entire thing went in an extra legal direction, illegal direction. But as long as it is legal, and as long as it is something which is helping you to make your living, I have a lot of respect for all occupations. It really doesn't matter. People who like doing these things would do those things. They're generally not good people who resort to these tactics, and it's fine. I even know about pediatricians who I believe are one of the most successful and busy doctors amongst all specialities. So this exists even within the fraternity of doctors. Certain specialities are more respected than others, which again makes zero sense to me. But even within fraternity of doctors, pediatricians are highly respected. But pediatricians sometimes encounter situations where some people might say, "Oh, so আপনি বেশি পড়াশোনা করলে হয়তো সবার ট্রিটমেন্ট করতে পারতেন, এখন আপনি খালি বাচ্চাদের ট্রিটমেন্টই করতে পারছেন." So that also happens. What can you say? These statements or situations do not merit a serious response. They just don't. So I think male nurses, veterinarians, every occupation is worthy of respect. বুক এম্পোরিয়াম, বুক এম্পোরিয়াম নাম ছিল। আরিহান্তের বই আমি বুক এম্পোরিয়াম থেকে কিনেছি। That name does not ring a bell. Bikash is the name of the owner of bookstore. Again, so the name of the bookstore we are not able to. Hirapur bookstore, yes, yes. Hirapur bookstore rings a bell. Hirapur bookstore rings a bell. Yes, Hirapur bookstore, I remember. Book Emporium probably was there. Maybe I didn't pay attention to the name of the bookstore. কার কার বাংলা পঞ্জিকা লাগবে সেটা আমাদের কমন হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ গ্রুপে বলে দেবেন। ঠিক আছে, পঞ্জিকা। বুক কর্নার, হ্যাঁ, বুক কর্নার অলসো ইজ a familiar name. Book Emporium is not a familiar name. Book Corner, I think I remember. So yeah, I was reminded of Prakash yesterday with all the laundry I did. And also, I mentioned early on in the video that I had ordered food for the first time, delivery food, and I had dinner at 8 p.m. yesterday, which is the first time this happened since 18th December. I think the last time I had food around this time was in Kolkata with my father, Shumanda and Rajnath, and yesterday. Yesterday was the most recent instance of that happening. I had basmati rice and tikka, lamb tikka, but it did not taste like it tastes in India. It's very sweet here, very, very sweet. But other than that, it was good. You know, very well made food. Naam Ponjika China. Yes, so this is a washed t-shirt. Thank you, thank you. So I believe the washing aspect I have got a grip on because I washed 3 different loads yesterday. Not one, 3 different loads. So in the first load, I had only socks, shorts, and t-shirt. This t-shirt, socks, and shorts. In the second load, I had only whites. So Sando Genji or Rumal, only white stuff. In the third load, I had only the formal shirts. So now that I've done it 3 times, I'm reasonably confident in operating a washing machine. দুমবার মাংস পাওয়া যায়, নিশ্চয়ই পাওয়া যায়, নিশ্চয়ই পাওয়া যাবে, I have no doubt about that, 100% পাওয়া যাবে. Yes, I think so. So বুড়ো আমার কালকে জিজ্ঞেস করেছিল যে খাওয়ার পরে মিষ্টি খেয়েছো কিনা, খাবারটাই এত মিষ্টি. The food is sweet. I don't know why. It's so sweet. It's like they add sugar to it. I don't know, maybe this is how they cook here. না খাওয়ার কি আছে, পেলেই খেয়ে নেবো. I don't know. The food is really sweet. Not all food. Obviously, the food that is the staple food here, the most popular food here is, or the traditional food here is fish and chips. By here, I mean United Kingdom. I think Ireland has their own food. But fish and chips is what is recognized the world over as traditional English food. Fish and chips is not sweet. But what I had yesterday was very sweet. পেলে খাবো, I don't know. I don't think এখানে পাওয়া যাবে, লন্ডনে হয়তো পাওয়া যাবে, খুঁজলে পাওয়া যাবে. বলো, মা বাবা কিছু বলবে না? বাবা তো কিছুই বলছে না. রাজনাথজি মনে হয় নেই, আর চলে গেছে, আর চ্যাটের মধ্যে নেই রাজনাথজি. ওকে, মা বলেছে গাদা চিনি রান্নাতে দেয়. তাই হবে. Are the local Irish people? Oh my god, you will get me in trouble with these questions. No, but then I don't have data available to me before I can comment on this. I've not looked at any data, but based on my experience of seeing people on the street and seeing people inside the hospital, I don't think most are. I don't think so. I think most of them are really fit, and I've seen so many people running around all the time. So no, but obviously some are, but not an abnormally high number. No, And I am in no position to call other people obese. It's like the pot calling the kettle black. Veg khele rajma chawal khete parish. See, yeah. So beans is very common here, and beans is very well made here. I actually like beans. I actually have. I really like eating beans here. They really have good beans here. So yes, that doesn't mean I will have beans in India. Don't get any ideas. I'm talking to my mother. Don't get any ideas. I will not have beans in India. But the beans here is really good. ওকে ভুলভাল কোনো কিছু খাবে না না ভুলভাল কিছু খাবো না অবশ্যই না yeah again see you are making requests and asking questions which will get me into serious trouble. I can't really post pictures of people without their consent. I have to ask them, and it's a very, very strange conversation in my mind. Can I click a picture and post it online? I don't think anyone would say yes to that. So, and without the consent of people posting their pictures online, I would never do it. It's just not worth it. So, no, during the weekend I would not get any updates, and I don't expect any updates during the weekend also. Weekends people just do their domestic work and really unplug from work. I can't do that because I'm a doctor, but most other people would not be working on the weekends. So during the weekend I would not get any updates. I don't bug them over the weekend also. हाँ, सिर्फ सुनने से क्या होगा? आप कुछ क्वेश्चन सवाल भी पूछिए. सिर्फ सुनने से क्या होगा? सवाल पूछिए. कल आप कितना अच्छा अच्छा सवाल पूछ रहे थे. आज कोई सवाल ही नहीं पूछ रहे. सवाल पूछिए. রাজনাথ জি পিক পোস্ট করবি আমাদের কমন গ্রুপ ওদের পারমিশন নিয়ে. I don't know. That might be a request I will not be able to honor. It's very difficult to honor that. I'm not comfortable with the idea. I can click pictures of a street and hide faces of people. I can do that. But you see, the streets are not very busy. It's not like click a picture of a street and there'll be many people walking. That usually isn't the case. But it is not a good. It's not the right thing to do. To click a picture of a stranger. I can click pictures. I can click pictures of public spaces, and if there is public in the public space, then maybe you will get to see them, but not of any person. Yeah, it's a tricky thing, tricky request. Just green spaces, I can click pictures of green spaces. I can click pictures of roads. Even when you're clicking pictures of roads, you should not have number plates of cars visible in the pictures. So these things are very important, So I really don't want to make any mistake on that front. So I'm very careful with pictures. Okay. Let me see more messages that will get me into trouble. I think we are going into very dangerous terrain with the conversation. See, বিয়ে করলে ঘর পাওয়া যাবে তাড়াতাড়ি. Unfortunately, the UK government is also aware of this, so that's not going to work. And if I have to do it in the legal way, then I have to find somebody here who will be willing to marry me. And before they are willing to marry me, I think it will take enough time for them to arrive at that decision. Then they will agree to marry me. Then I will get a house. I think finding a rental accommodation is much easier. and it will happen much sooner, I believe, than the other way of first meeting a girl, convincing her to marry me, in the traditional way, not in any suspicious manner. So yeah, I'll follow the technique that has been suggested to me, and I'm optimistic I will find a proper rental place within 1 month. Otherwise, I'm staying in a nice place. I can keep extending my stay here if we can mutually agree upon that. So, and that's it's really not a good option. What you are suggesting, it's just not practical in my mind. राजनाथ खाना खा लिया. ओके. आज सर जी आपके लिप्स तो अच्छे हैं. यस, थैंक यू फॉर दैट. आपने बताया इसलिए उस पर काम किए. Yes, so city center is where I stayed in the first week. The first week was in city center. City Hotel is in city center, and city center is actually the part of Delhi that I am most comfortable with, because that is the part of Delhi I first visited, and I like going there. So I go there every opportunity I get. City center is very good place. It has the Guildhall building, which is the government building. It has the walls of Delhi. So many restaurants are there, many shopping malls. There is the very nice walking path next to the river Foyle. Obviously, the Peace Bridge is nearby. So, city center is perhaps the most vibrant part of the city. The hospital is I won't say very far. It's a 40-minute walk from the city center, but it's not in that region. Hospital is away from it. I am currently quite far from the city center. But again, when I say quite far, it's like a 30-40-minute walk. So not incredibly far also. A 30-40-minute walk is a 5-minute drive. So if it's a 5-minute drive, I can't say I'm very far away. But yeah, I was much closer. I was living inside the city center in the first week when I was in Delhi. Yeah, scenery pictures I can easily post. Yeah, I will. এটা গোফ রাখ আরো ভালো লাগবে. না, ঠিক আছে. गोफ राख तो बोल ले सुनलाम, but sorry. नहीं रखेंगे. I have bought enough shaving blades to last me till August. तो अगस्त तक तो गोफ नहीं आने वाला. Also, I have realized that now my facial hair is also turning grey. I don't know if I keep a mustache, how much of it will be black and how much of it will be white. And I'm not willing to find out. হ্যাঁ, গোফ রাখবো না. ইয়েস, থ্যাংক ইউ. রাজনাথ আমার দলে আছে. রাজনাথ বলেছে গোফ রাখবে না, রাখবো না. और बताइए. বাবা কিছু বলছে না কেন? বাবা কি ঘুমিয়ে পড়েছে? ইটস ওকে. বাবার সাথে কথা হয়েছে. বাবা বলছে শরীর বেটার. শপিং মল, মিষ্টির দোকান, হোটেল, বাংলার ছবিও পাঠাতে পারিস. ইয়া, আই উইল ট্রাই. বাবা জেগে আছে. তো প্রশ্ন করছো না কেন? কোনো প্রশ্ন নেই নাকি? সব প্রশ্নগুলোই খুবই সংবেদনশীল, পাবলিক ফোরামে করা যাবে না? ঠিক আছে, পরে করবে. ঠিক আছে, বুঝেছি. সিনারি ছবি পাঠাবো. এখানে কিছু দূরে কিছু পাহাড় দেখা যায়, যেগুলো এমনি সময় গ্রিন, আর যখন স্নো হয় তখন পুরো হোয়াইট হয়ে যায়. এবার আমার ধারণা ছিল এই পাহাড়গুলো রিপাবলিক অফ আয়ারল্যান্ডে। রিপাবলিক অফ আয়ারল্যান্ড হলে তো আমি যেতে পারবো না, বিকজ তার জন্য আলাদা ভিসা লাগবে। কিন্তু আমার এক কলিগ বললো যে না, ওগুলো তো নর্দার্ন আয়ারল্যান্ডের মধ্যেই। তো ইন দ্যাট কেস, যখন সম্ভব হবে, সব কিছু যখন ফেভারে থাকবে, তখন সেই পাহাড়ে একবার যাওয়ার চেষ্টা করব। পাহাড় আর বিচ দুটোই এখান থেকে বেশি দূরে নয়, ইউনো, লাইক বিশাখাপট্টনম। মাম, মামের কোনো প্রশ্ন নেই। মাম কি ঘুমিয়ে পড়েছে? বুড়ো আমার অনেক কোয়েশ্চেন করছে, খুব ভালো, আমার খুব পছন্দ, কিন্তু মাম কোনো প্রশ্ন করছে না। राजनाथ जी भी कोई सवाल नहीं पूछ रहे। পাঁচজন দেখছে, পাঁচজন মানে মা, বাবা, বুড়ো মামা, মাম আর রাজনাথ, আই থিঙ্ক। ইটস নট ভেরি ফার, so distance wise it is not that much, it's not very far, but it's an independent country, so it will require its own visa. That is the only issue. প্রতিবেশীদের সাথে আলাপ পরিচয় হলো, হ্যাঁ হয়েছে, আলাপ পরিচয় হয়েছে। তারা ভারতবর্ষের বিভিন্ন প্রান্তে থাকে, মানে প্রান্ত থেকে এসছে। তাদের জন্ম ভারতবর্ষের বিভিন্ন প্রান্তে হয়েছিল, তাদের সাথে কথা হয়েছে কালকে। কোনো প্রশ্ন না, কোনো প্রশ্ন না, বাবা তাই করছে। কোনো প্রশ্ন? ওকে, আচ্ছা, বাবা বলছে যে কোনো প্রশ্ন না করতে। মেবি বিকজ ইউ আর আস্কিং ডেঞ্জারাস কোয়েশ্চেন্স। পুনার কেউ নেই, না, পুনার কেউ নেই। এটা নিয়ে আমি একটা ভিডিও বানাবো। আই উইল টক অ্যাবাউট যে ভারতবর্ষে কোন জায়গা থেকে বেশি ইমিগ্রেশন হয় এবং কেন হয়। এমিগ্রেশন হয় এবং কেন হয়। আর I'll make a video about that. They are not from Bengal, no. So far I have not met anyone from Bengal. So far I have not heard any Bengali anywhere in Delhi. I don't think that I am the only Bengali in Delhi. I don't think so. আমি একটা লিস্ট পেয়েছিলাম ডাক্তারদের, সেখানে I have seen a Banerjee. So there you have it. There are Bengali speakers, but I don't think I have not heard Bengali in Delhi since I came here. সত্যজিতের সিনেমা ডায়লগ কোনটা? কোন ডায়লগটা আরেকবার বলো। কোনো প্রশ্ন না, কোনো প্রশ্ন না, বাবা তাই করছে, আমি জানি না কোন ডায়লগ কথা বলছে, আরেকবার লিখতে হবে, বুঝতে পারিনি। आप कभी चिंता नहीं कीजिएगा काकू काकीमा, अकेले हम सब है। हाँ हाँ, ये तो सही बात है, ये सही बात है। ये सही बात है, चिंता तो इसलिए ना, नहीं, ये आप लोग है, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है मेरे लिए। কোনো প্রশ্ন না, এটা সত্যজিৎ সিনেমা ডায়লগ? কোন সিনেমা ডায়লগ? which সত্যজিৎ রায় মুভি? উৎপল দত্ত? কোন কোন সিনেমা? কোনো প্রশ্ন না, কোনো প্রশ্ন না। উৎপল দত্ত does not narrow it down. He was in so many Satyajit Ray movies. Then we can talk about Satyajit Ray movies if you want to. Which Satyajit Ray movies is your favorite? We can do that poll, I think. Can we do that? Do you Satyajit? You can do that. I think I've started a poll. You can message there. I started watching a web series in Geo, Welcome to Delhi, but gradually I realized it was not your Delhi. They were talking about USA. Maybe they too have Delhi. Yes. So there is Delhi in New Hampshire, I think, in the US. Yeah. If you want to know about Derry in Northern Ireland, I think the best show is Derry Girls, but it's more about it talks about and Derry very, I would say, in a very cursory manner. But Derry is a character. The city Derry is a character in Derry Girls. So if you watch it properly, with careful attention, you would really like it. সোনার কেল্লা জটায়ু কোনো প্রশ্ন না কোনো প্রশ্ন না okay okay I remember good let us do another poll now try to comment on the poll না আর কোনো প্রশ্ন না বুঝেছি okay how do I get rid of this start a poll start a Q&A let us try to do this ask a question which Satyajit Ray movie do you want to talk about? বলো একটা কোয়েশ্চেন আমি করেছি বুড়ো বাবা হাই বলেছে বেশ তোমরা কি স্ক্রিনে কোনো কোয়েশ্চেন দেখতে পাচ্ছ The question is which Satyajit Ray movie do you want me to talk about now? সত্যজিৎ রায় কোন সিনেমা নিয়ে এখন কথাবার্তা বলতে চাও বা আমি কিছু কথা বলতে পারি তোমরা তোমাদের ওপিনিয়ন দেবে You can answer in the পথের পাঁচালী ওকে পথের পাঁচালী you got one পথের পাঁচালী বাকিরা বলো Pathar Pachali actually is a movie I've been thinking about a lot in the last few days. গণশত্রু okay গণশত্রু is yeah nice movie গণশত্রু I wonder if গণশত্রু can be made today in 2026 I don't think you can make গণশত্রু maybe you can make it but then you'll become a গণশত্রু after that আর কেউ কিছু বলছে না মা কি বলছে মা কিছু বলো মা বুড়ো মামা কিছু বলছে না বলো হীরক you don't mention you already mentioned পথের পাঁচালী আপনি নিজেই আবার কি মায়ের কথাটা বললে okay so let's talk about them one by one if you want to end up in a jail yes some of the messages in the chat are also like that anyway so let's talk about it one by one let's start with Pather Pachali so Pather Pachali as the name suggests it is a story about road and road is not literally just what you can see. It road is something which you can travel on. So it essentially is the story, or Pachali is more of a song of a journey. So it talks about the journey of people who grew up in this village. I think Nischindipur was the name of the village, and how they land up in a big place like Varanasi, and what happens in their lives. So I had Pather Pachali as one of my textbooks in school, and that's how I watched Pather Pachali the movie, because I felt if I watched the movie I probably understand the book better. No, that didn't serve the purpose. But the book and the movie both are incredibly good. So there are very few books where the movie adaptation is better. I think I have seen very few of them, but some of them you can definitely say that the movie adaptation is what made the books more popular, or the movie adaptation is significantly better than the books. I would think of James Bond as something which I can immediately think of. I've seen so many of the Bond movies. I have not read any of the Bond novels. But in terms of popularity, sometimes the books are more popular than the movies. Sometimes the movies are more popular than the book. But it's very rare that in popularity, the book and the movie is almost equal. I can think of only two in that regard. And if you can think of others, and you do mention that, actually I can think of four. So Pather Pachali, book, famous; movie, very famous. Both are very famous. Godfather, book, very famous; movie, very famous. Lord of the Rings, book, very famous; movie, very famous. And Game of Thrones, book, very famous; show also very famous. In Pather Pachali, when I was reading it, it is such a sad story that although I had to read it, memorize it, and write the answers in the academic tests, I would get overwhelmed by just reading the story. You would get engrossed in the story, and some of the main characters in the movie die, you know, and you certainly expect some of them to die because they start off as extremely old, but even the very young characters die, who you really don't expect to die, and that really comes as a shock. You don't expect a young girl to die, and that too so suddenly. And the way it is written in the book, it's not like you keep thinking that she will recover, she'll recover, she will recover, and then there is just one line: she dies. Oy din rate mrityu holo, something like that. Same thing happens to Horihar, whose death was traumatic for me, you know. So, but I had to read all of that and then replicate them in answers. So Pather Pachali, I think all of the deaths in the story are very traumatic, and I do think about Pather Pachali a lot. It's the entire Oppu trilogy. It was shown very beautifully in the movie, but um, one hopes that literature guides humanity. And so there was this Javed Akhtar quote which said that we are naturally turned off to human torture because we have vocal cords. So we can protest, we can say that this is not the right thing. And movies like Pather Pachali are the vocal cords of society. It tells you that even something which is so normal, and going out in search of a better life is such a normal thing, it can have implications on the lives of other people, which needs to be seen to maybe appreciate. People maybe don't appreciate it as much as they should. So there was a nice Javed Akhtar interview line that I want to talk about. He says that suppose you enter a room and you see that there is a nice gulab jamun hanging from the ceiling, and you would be very excited about it. You will see the gulab jamun, you would run to it. You love gulab jamun. You run to the gulab jamun and you swallow it. You take it in your mouth. The moment you take it in your mouth, there is a hook inside the gulab jamun which goes through your palate, and somebody is now pulling the rope attached to the hook, and you feel yourself going up and going up to a level where there is no oxygen. So you start you know flailing about because there's no oxygen. When you are not experiencing the oxygen, what does that person do who has now lifted you up to that level? He starts skinning you alive and starts beating you with a blunt object. What am I describing? I am describing fishing. But we have all done it, we've all seen it. We don't call it an act of torture. Why don't we do it? We don't do it because fish do not have vocal cords. Fish can't protest, fish can't shriek, and that's why we think it is a perfectly normal thing to do. Literature is the vocal cord of society. Art is the vocal cord of society. And Pothar Pachali, I believe, is the ultimate vocal cord when it comes to a movie or a book or a piece of art that has ever seen the light of day, I think. So that was Pothar Pachali. Let's look at the next one, Ganashotru. So Ganashotru was an adaptation of a play. Ganashotru was an adaptation of a play, and I loved it. I loved it because it had some amazing actors. It had Soumitra Chatterjee. It had Dhritiman. So, and it talks Satyajit Ray across his movies. You would see some common themes. He has always been anti-superstition. He's always been against blind faith and groupthink. He's always been against that. Maybe he had some blind spots. I believe he was too soft on communism in some respects, I think. And I can understand why, because of the time that he lived in. But he never took a very visibly pro-communist stance also. So the good thing about a Satyajit Ray movie is when you would watch it, regardless of what your political affiliations are, you could think that Hirok Raja Deshe is an anti-communist movie, depending upon your political feelings. You could think it's an anti-fascist movie. You could think it's an anti-right-wing, anti-left-wing, depending upon who you think the dictator is. You would think that the opponent is that the antagonist in the movie is your political opposition. So Hirok Raja Deshe is a movie that every political party supporter can get behind and think that they are the good guys. That is the beauty of Hirok Raja Deshe. It tells a very important story that in Hirok Raja Deshe, or through Hirok Raja Deshe, it tells that anybody with absolute power can become a dictator. It does not matter what their political ideology is. That, I believe, is the enduring message of Hirok Raja Deshe. That is why it stood the test of time. Communist people could feel that it was an anti-Congress, anti-emergency movie. Trinamool people could think it's an anti-communist movie. BJP people could think it's an anti-TMC movie. TMC people could think it's an anti-BJP movie. You can just think whatever you want to, and all of that would fit, because that's the enduring power of Hirok Raja Deshe. Ganashotru does not have that. That is the main difference between Ganashotru and Hirok Raja Deshe, because Ganashotru, I think, clearly showcases one group of people as wrong and one group of people as right, which is, I think, the most political Satyajit Ray has ever been in his filmography. And I think that could have been probably shown in a more subtle manner, because while there are a lot of things wrong on the side that has been shown wrong in the movie, there are a lot of things wrong on the side that has been shown as right in the movie also. So That is my opinion about Ganashatru. Gopika in Baghabain, I feel believe is perhaps the best Satyajit Ray movie. It certainly is probably the most successful Satyajit Ray movie in commercial terms, because it really talks about a very serious topic in a very non-serious way. That if a person is ostracized by society, you need supernatural powers to come into play to really uplift yourself. That is my understanding of Gopika in Bhagavan. Probably isn't what Satyajit Ray was trying to convey, but you need supernatural strength, supernatural intervention to move from that position in society to the position they ultimately reach in Gopika in Bhagavan. या मेरा हॉलीडे है आज. यस, आज हॉलीडे है. Some of the Sherlock, you want me to talk about Sherlock Holmes movies? We are talking about Satyajit Ray. हाँ, अंग्रेजी ज़्यादा हो गया, आई नो. ठीक है, अंग्रेजी सिखा देंगे आपको, कोई बात नहीं. One of the best fiction books I have read is Gone with the Wind. I was in college then and I got so moved. Yes, Gone with the Wind is another one. Gone with the Wind, very good book, very famous movie. Gone with the Wind also fits the bill, correct. Gone with the Wind, it is a very controversial movie now, because if you look at it, it talks about the antebellum South in the United States. And it talks from the perspective of people in the South. Now, for us, we would think that the North was they were the good guys, the South were the bad guys. But Gone with the Wind is the Southern perspective, which, if taken to the extreme, can result in slavery. So, Gone with the Wind has problems. You can't really glorify it without any qualifications. It is a qualified great book. It certainly is. It expresses itself beautifully, but you have to be aware of the biases in Gone with the Wind, and it was about a very difficult political topic, which is quite clear to us. Slavery is a bad thing. But Gone with the Wind does have some problematic elements. So we have to be aware of that also when we talk about Gone with the Wind. We can't just say it's a great book, which it is, and a great movie, which it is, but it has some problems. It did not age well. It was good for its time, perhaps, but not in the modern context. Greek play. No, I don't think Ganashatru was a Greek play. I think it was a Swedish, something modern Europe, contemporary European play, Ganashatru. मौसम यहाँ पे बारिश बहुत हो रहा है, बहुत बारिश हो रहा है. গোপিকা ইন বাঘাবাইনের একটা গান করতে পারিস. গোপিকা ইন বাঘাবাইনের গান মনে নেই. হীরক রাজার দেশের গান মনে আছে. হীরক রাজার দেশে, ironically, while it was such a great movie, it won the National Award for Music. But it is such a great movie. It's an enduring movie, as I said. হীরক রাজার দেশে এতটাই ভালো সিনেমা যে আজকে যদি সেই সময় কমিউনিস্টরা দেখে মনে করেছিল ওটা অ্যান্টি এমার্জেন্সি সিনেমা, টিএমসি সাপোর্টাররা দেখে ভাবতে পারে ওটা অ্যান্টি কমিউনিস্ট সিনেমা, বিজেপি সাপোর্টাররা দেখে ভাবতে পারে ওটা অ্যান্টি টিএমসি সিনেমা. So if you're a BJP supporter, you can think it's anti-TMC. If you're a TMC supporter, you can think it's anti-communist, anti-BJP. If you're a communist supporter, you can think it's an anti-Congress movie. If you're a Congress supporter, you can think it's an anti-communist movie. All of that is possible. All of those interpretations are possible. That is what makes Satyajit Ray and Hírok Raja Deshe so amazing. So, I don't think so, no. I don't think so. You can say, but Sherlock Holmes, the book is by far more famous than the movies, I think, So I was talking in terms of popularity, in terms of readership, in terms of viewership. So I think the books are much more widely. Agatha Christie, books are more popular than the movies. Harry Potter, I feel the books are much better, but then there are people who like the movies more. I'm not one of them. But in terms of equally popular, I think these are the examples I can think of: Gone with the Wind, Game of Thrones, Godfather, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter also to an extent, I have to say. Yes. And Potter Pachali from Bengali films. Enemy of the State, yeah, that's Ganashotru. Yes. हाँ, मेरे पास अम्ब्रेला है तो बाहर जा सकते हैं। যাই হোক, তো আমি পথের পাঁচালী নিয়ে যা বললাম সে ব্যাপারে কোনো বক্তব্য? কোনো বক্তব্য আছে? পথের পাঁচালী নিয়ে যা বললাম সবাই কি শুনলো সেটা? পথের পাঁচালী নিয়ে আমি বোধহয় ইংরেজিতে বলে দিয়েছি, পথের পাঁচালীটা বাংলাতে বলা উচিত। পথের পাঁচালী হচ্ছে গিয়ে কোনো রাস্তার পাঁচালী নয়, যাতায়াত বা একটা জার্নি, বাংলায় বলতে পারছি না, মানে একটা জায়গা থেকে একটা জায়গায় যাওয়ার এই যে পরিবর্তনগুলো আসে, কেন যেতে হয়, কেন নিজের বাসস্থান জন্মস্থান ছাড়তে হয়, কি এমন হয়ে গেল যে ছাড়তে হলো, সেগুলোর উপরে গল্পটা। এবং গল্পের মধ্যে এত ট্র্যাজেডি আছে, এতটাই ট্র্যাজিক স্টোরি, ভেরি ডিফিকাল্ট, খুব কষ্ট হয়েছিল আমার পড়তে। জীবন আর যাওয়া না, ভেরি ভেরি একদম তিন লাইনে, 3 শব্দে, 1 লাইনে বলে দিলে ঠিক। জীবন আর যাওয়া নিয়ে কথা, গল্প পথের পাঁচালী। তো ভেরি ভেরি ট্রমাটিক, অল অফ দ্য ডেথস ইন পথের পাঁচালী। পথের পাঁচালীতে যে চরিত্রের মৃত্যু দেখিয়েছে, সে অপুর যাকে বিয়ে করলো অপু, that person also dies. So it's just too many deaths in that story. अपनी दृष्टि से भेज देना। ওকে, ঠিক আছে। বলো, মাম কি এখনো চ্যাটে আছে? একজন কেউ পালিয়ে গেছে, বুড়ো মামা, বাবার মধ্যে কেউ পালিয়েছে। সত্যজিৎ নিয়ে তো প্রচুর ভালো ভালো ব্লগস আছে। ইয়েস, বাট ন্যাচারাল থাকার কথাই। There are Americans talking about Satyajit Ray, so Satyajit Ray transcends the barriers of time and geography. He is liked over the years. He has been liked over the years from the 50s till the 2020s, and he is liked the world over in different parts of the world. I got a comment from a person from France on this channel about the music room, Jalshaghar. Jalshaghar is perhaps, can you think of a filmmaker talking about Jomidars from the Jomidar perspective without taking the side of the Jomidar? It's not a pro-Jomidar movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it shows the Jomidar's perspective. Very well made movie. See, he's made movies where he has shown the perspective of very poor people. Many of his movies show the perspective of very poor people. In fact, he has been criticized for showing only poor people, which is not true. That's just people who don't know much about Satyajit Ray who make those claims. He has shown every section of society. He has shown Jomidars in Jalshaghar. He has shown the urban unemployed in Pratidwandi. He has shown the urban elite in Shimabadho. He has shown people struggling to get a job in Jana Aranyo. He has shown feminism in the 1960 in Mohanagar. Can you imagine feminism in 1960? So, I can go on and on. Okay. Ashwini Shankit. Yeah. He was not a Jomidar himself, but he showed the Jomidar perspective without really apologizing for Jomidars. He was not saying that Jomidars are good in Jalshaghar, but he showed the perspective. And there's this iconic scene which I remember so well that, and I was watching a video on the class structure in Britain. So here in the UK, you have the aristocrats, and the aristocrats don't work. That is the most important identifier of an aristocrat. They own land, they don't work. Usually they are part of the royal family and they have royal titles. So Jomidars were also like that. They owned land and they didn't work. But with time, aristocrats got replaced by the merchant class or the upper middle class. So if you see an interview of Mukesh Ambani, who by no stretch of the imagination is middle class, nobody will say that Mukesh Ambani is middle class, but Mukesh Ambani himself in interviews describes himself as middle class. Why? Not because he is humble. He is accurate. He is middle class because he is not from the aristocratic strata of society. He might have inherited a lot of wealth, but he still has to work. I mean, maybe he doesn't need to work. He can live on his share price, but he works. As long as you're working, you're not an aristocrat and you are part of the middle class or merchant class. Now, of course, middle class also has upper middle class, lower middle class, all that. So in Jalshaghar, this was shown so well that an aristocrat, Jomidar, he gets replaced or dethroned by somebody from the merchant class. And that is the nouveau riche or new money. And new money often eclipses old money. Sometimes the merchants become more rich than the aristocrats. So the billionaires, the Jeff Bezoses, the Elon Musks of the world, they are not aristocrats. They had a business, they made a lot of money. And when they make a lot of money, sometimes they have more money than the royals, which was shown by Satyajit Ray in Jalshaghar, that how people from the merchant class, people who are businessmen, they can accumulate more riches. They can become more rich than aristocrats. I think that was a very beautifully shown movie, beautifully shown story, and the scene I like most from the movie is the scene of a motor car speeding towards an elephant, and the elephant disappears from the view through the smoke of the motor car or the mud that starts covering the view, and the elephant of the Jomidar disappears from the view because of the dust created by the traveling motor car. That really is a motif for how the business people are the ones with the real power now, not the erstwhile Jomidars. It was a beautiful movie, Jalshaghar. I have a lot of time for it. Feminism in Charulata. Yes, Charulata also shows feminism. Satyajit Ray himself regards Charulata as his favorite movie. Of all the movies he has made, he thinks Charulata is his favorite movie. And one other thing about Satyajit Ray is that in almost all of his movies, where there was a character, a character played by a female actor, usually they were really powerful actors. They were not just there to fill the frame. So he made many movies where the female characters were very, very powerful. They were not pushovers. You think about Nayok. You think about Nayok and you think maybe it would be just an Uttam Kumar movie. But Sharmila Tagore's character was so powerful in Nayok. Similarly, Mahanagar, Charulata, I think both were played by the same actor. I forget the name of the actor. Both are depictions of feminism. Charulata is feminism on the personal front, and Mahanagar is feminism on the professional front. And both are incredibly accurate depictions of feminism. And in the 1960s, feminism was not mainstream in the 1960s. Yeah, বৃষ্টিতে ভিজবো না, ভিজবো না. Dhiru Bhai was a middle class man. Yes, Dhiru Bhai was a middle class man. Mukesh Bhai is also a middle class man if you go by the dictionary definition of who is a middle class person. A middle class person is somebody who works. As long as you're working, you're middle class. You might be the richest person on earth. You might be Elon Musk, but you're still middle class. Class has got nothing to do with bank balance. That is one way of defining it. Madhavi Mukherjee, yes. So that is so in the UK there are three classes: aristocrats, middle class, and working class. So middle class is and it has nothing to do with wealth. The working class person can be incredibly rich. The example of a working class person who is incredibly rich is David Beckham. So you can work your way up to accumulate lots of wealth, but you will always be working class. Okay. A middle class person, a merchant class person, somebody who is highly educated, who may be a businessman, maybe an executive, who may not be as rich as a working class person. Certainly, a person working in an IT company does not have the same money as a very successful football player. But the football player is working class, and the IT company employee is middle class. And above all of them are the aristocrats. They have land and they don't work. And sometimes they pass laws if they are part of the House of Lords. So it's a very interesting class system in the UK. So I was quite shocked to hear. Initially, I felt that how can Mukesh Ambani describe himself as middle class? But the class system again has nothing to do with net worth or money in the bank. Okay, you have had too much of it. পারা যাচ্ছে না। মাম কিছু বক্তব্য? তো রাজনাথজি বৃষ্টিতে আমি ভিজবো না, ছাতা নিয়ে বেরোবো। অশনি সংকেত, ওকে, অশনি সংকেত। অশনি সংকেত নিয়ে আমার এটাই বলার যে আমি অশনি সংকেত আমি শেষের দিকে দেখেছিলাম। তো there are 36 movies of Satyajit Ray which I did not watch in order. Oshoni Sanket was one of the last Satyajit Ray movies I've seen, so it is quite fresh in my memory. The thing I like about Oshoni Sanket is it does not show. It shows the bounty of nature. If you think about Oshoni Sanket, you don't see that there are areas of land which is completely not fertile. There's a lot of greenery in the land, but people are starving. People don't have food. That is the main thing of Oshoni Sanket. It tells you through motifs that the land is there, the food is there, but it is not going to people because they are deprived of it through interventions, through war rationing. And that is what I like about Oshoni Sanket. It is a very difficult watch because it talks about a very difficult period of history. But the fact that the famine of Bengal was not a natural phenomenon has been shown in no uncertain terms in Oshoni Sanket. I think it's called Distant Thunder, something. The English title is Distant Thunder. Very good analysis. Thank you. Which analysis did you like the most? Hero, let's do a poll. Try to answer the poll, or just type in your comment, or you can answer there. Which analysis you liked most? Let me just enter the poll. Okay, please answer that. No, not that we don't like watching you. We have our book fair program. Yes, you can go to the book fair program after you have answered the poll. And don't say all of them. That's You have the poll in front of you. I think you can select options, or you can just you can mention. So yes, I'm getting some results. I have got 2 votes. I expect 5 votes, or at least 4. Okay. Any other votes? No more votes. Okay, that's an interesting গুগা বাবা। হ্যাঁ বুঝেছি তুমি বলেছো এটা। বাবা ইয়েস, মা আর মামি ভোট দিয়েছে, বুঝেছি আমি। ভোট দিচ্ছে না। 3 জন ভোট দিলেও ব্যাপারটা বোঝা যেত, 2 জন ভোট দিচ্ছে খালি। ইয়া, সো গুপি গাইন বাঘা বাইন, আই জেনুইনলি বিলিভ যে সিনেমাতে দেখিয়েছে যে একজন মানুষের যদি অতটাই খারাপ অবস্থা হয়ে যায়, তাহলে ভূতের রাজারই প্রয়োজন। ভূতের রাজাই একমাত্র বাঁচাতে পারবে, মানুষ অন্যান্য মানুষ বাঁচাবে না। তো বাবা বলেছে পথের পাঁচালী। ইয়া ওকে, সো পথের পাঁচালী হ্যাজ ওয়ান। পথের পাঁচালী অ্যাকচুয়ালি I have had a lot of time to think about Pather Pachali. The great movies are movies that you keep thinking about years after you watch them. That's what makes a great movie. And it is slightly ironic that Satyajit Ray's greatest movie perhaps was his first movie. So, you know, I don't think he made a movie Pachali after that. He made many other movies which were very good, but Pather Pachali somehow takes the cake. And it was his first movie. Okay, so on that note, I will bid you adieu, goodbye, and we will see each other again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday, so it will not be a 1 hour 40-minute live stream. It will be much shorter, and I will try to be online at 6 a.m. I'll try to be online at 6 a.m. because I think 6 a.m. allows, it will be 11:30 a.m. India time. So I will try to be online at 6 a.m. and I'll probably be online for about half an hour because I want to finish it by 6:30, as I like to take a moment to check if I'm missing out on anything or not. I don't want to leave in a hurry because sometimes I forget stuff. Sometimes I leave the umbrella behind. Sometimes I leave 1 or 2 important things behind. So tomorrow I will be online at 6 a.m. UK time and 11:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. So I hope to see you tomorrow. Okay? 11:30 a.m. Half an hour live stream tomorrow. Bye bye. Thank you so much for hanging in there for 1 hour 40 minutes. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Yep. बाय बाय राजनाथ जी, बाय 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 बाय। अंग्रेजी थोड़ा कम बोलेंगे आगे से, ठीक है। बाय बाय। कल 11:30 बजे फिर ऑनलाइन होंगे 11:30 बजे इंडिया का टाइम। इंडिया में जब 11:30 बजे सुबह का 11:30 बजे टाइम होगा तब मैं ऑनलाइन आने वाला हूँ कल। ठीक है, बाय बाय पुलवामा, बाय बाय, टाटा। 6 AM टुमारो UK टाइम, 11:30 AM इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड टाइम टुमारो। और कल आधा घंटा ही ऑनलाइन रहेंगे, आधा घंटा, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं। ठीक है, पिंपल पिंपल, एनीथिंग एल्स? नो? ठीक है, बाय बाय, सी यू टुमारो, बाय 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 बाय।